Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Self-Published Strong podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Pearson, and I'm joined today by my husband.
Hi, I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok. I did find the movie schedule that we didn't have last week. And so, all right, so we'll be talking about Thor Ragnarok this week, and then next week is Lars and the Real Girl, then Jurassic World 2, then Casino Royale, then Hunger Games, then 10 Things I Hate About You, and then Finding Forrester. These are good movies. I'm glad we picked them.
Go us.
Go us. And let's see. I've finally been able to dig back into the bookwork today. Sometimes I can't write my books unless I have titles for them and book covers for them first. So I've now got titles pretty much for all the rest of the books in my Coven Chronicles. So feeling pretty positive about that. And I've got, just trying to get everything under control, update on the house that we're flipping. I don't like our handyman.
He's listening to our podcast.
He's listening.
Everybody knows about our podcast in the whole world, Andrea.
Everybody knows. So we've discovered that it's hard to find people who are honest and hardworking and reliable and affordable. He charges a lot of money for being very incompetent. So if you want to flip houses, $60 an hour for a handyman is way bad if he's incompetent. I finally handed it off to Nolan. Nolan's a lot better at being
yelly
than I am. I tend to be very diplomatic and avoid contention too much. Anyway.
I've had to learn to just tell people to shut up and do it.
I think it's also part of your personality.
It's true.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's see. So we're going to go ahead and give the quote. Do you want to go ahead and read that?
If you aim at nothing, you hit it every time.
And that is by
Zig Zigler.
Zig Zigler. Yeah, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. How come you picked that one?
You don't know what to aim your work at if you don't have a goal. What specifically are you trying to do? Write a book?
Yeah.
What kind of book? When?
When do you want it done? That's a huge one that people usually mess up.
Oh, I've been world building for X number of years.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a writer. You're a dreamer.
Yeah.
And you can spend your dreams. No, you can't. So
you can't spend your dreams.
So maybe actually write a book, even if it sucks, and then fix it.
Yeah, because if you don't write and don't finish something, then you will never get better. You don't progress.
Be a reviser, not an author. How's that for some...
Yes.
Dropping some knowledge on you.
My favorite thing is when people say, oh, I've always wanted to write. I'm like, well, you've always wanted to write, and someday... They're like, and someday I will. I'm like, no, someday never comes unless you actually are like, okay, I'm doing it, Anyway, I like that. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. So set solid goals and achievable goals, attainable goals, or make them just slightly out of reach so that you are actually working towards something. Because if you set goals that are always achievable, you will never fully grow. That's my feeling anyway. All right, so the tip and Nolan nodded, so. Solid
advice. They can hear me nodding.
Is your brains rattling? Are they rattling in your head?
I'm a little dehydrated, so.
Yeah, he's still a little bit sick. Actually, he started getting sick again. That was really exciting.
Yeah, I love allergies. It's the best time of year.
Yeah.
Seeding grass and ragweed.
Yes, that's right. And I've had a rough week. The last week I've had a sinus infection. And so the last time we recorded, I was just getting sick. And now I'm finally just starting to get better. Speaking of which, Nolan, if I phrase this, that means finish your thought so I can blow my nose. Oh, you've got your own tissue paper.
I've got my own.
Too bad I'm going to cut that out because that's funny.
Why? Leave it in.
Should I leave it in?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I've got toilet paper here, and when I raise it, it means I got it. We've got to stop so I can blow my nose. And then Nolan raised his own toilet paper.
It was hidden.
I didn't see it. Yeah. That's amazing. We're in sync.
We are.
We're not in sync. I'm not JT.
Be. Why not?
We could be. You're right. I could totally.
I can sing almost as well as some of them.
It's true, actually. It's Backstreet Boys that are actually very good singers. They individually sing decently.
Yeah.
I don't believe the same of NSYNC. Anyway, that's off topic.
Is it? It's entertainment.
Good point, yes.
I mean, not that we cover all things entertainment, but
Anyway. All right. We're going to continue our, our book cover tips. So And today I'm going to talk about finding cover designers and finding basically inspiration and stuff like that. So Mark Coker, who's the creator, CEO of Smashwords, has a list of cover designers who charge $35. And you can just Google that. You just Google Mark Coker or Smashwords cover designers and things like that. And they charge around $35 and more. I'm sure some of them will charge more than that, but it's a place to go to. Then you can also go to kboards.com. They have a yellow pages that has a pretty decent list of designers. And you can also do searches for pre-made book covers on Google because many designers are willing to tweak for a cost. And it's a great way to find cover designers, and pre-made ones sometimes will actually work really well. There are some very, very nice pre-made book covers out there. You can also Google book cover contests and check out the judges. And one of them may be what you're looking for. So check out the judges and their work and things like that. And let's see. Okay, so go to deviantart.com. Actually, Nolan, you introduced me to DeviantArt. And I mean, why would somebody want to go to DeviantArt?
They have a board for commissions. So some people do.
I didn't know this.
Cover art there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah. At least they did. It's been a couple of years since I've been there, but you can specifically look for artists that you like and then contact them and see if they do book covers. But they also have a section for commissions, and some of them specifically do book covers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go there for that, which I didn't even have it on my list here because I didn't know that, but you can go there for backgrounds and inspiration, custom illustrations. So consider approaching an illustrator and pay them for their artwork, which you can then use to create a book cover. And cover designers do hang out there. Nolan used to hang out there quite a bit.
I used to do art.
All the time. Those were the days. We want to get back to those days.
They hear me nodding. It's fine.
He's nodding. Yes, they heard him.
They heard that.
All right. So you can also go to 99designs.com. It's a site where designers compete to be chosen for a project. And I hate competition and contention and anything like that. And so I've never used it just because I don't want to have to choose between, like, some of my author friends have had very, very nice covers they've had to choose between. And I would hate that. I don't like being like, hey, cover designer, you just spent 10 hours on this, but I'm not going to pick your design, you know? But it is a very viable place for book covers. So if you don't care about that, then.
If you don't care about people's feelings, go to 99 Designs.
And so authors pick a price point and they get a number of designs for that amount. If an author is willing to spend about $350, they'll get very professional options from those competing. And then another thing you can do is check out the top selling books in your genre on Amazon and see if they credit their cover designer. So go use the look inside feature. If they don't, consider contacting them. Basically look for covers that you like that are in your genre and that fit the feel of your book, and then contact those cover designers. So next week we'll talk about best practices, and that's a huge, huge chunk. So I'm going to be splitting that up between a couple of episodes, if that's okay with you.
It is.
Okay, so I already gave the schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and read an excerpt from Alice's book, and it is from the novel Tenets of 7C. It's Heaven and Earth, Book 1 by Alice Deegan, or Deegan. Alice, I apologize. I didn't know how to say your name ahead of time. And I'm going to go ahead and read that with my, I did take a lot of drama classes and I do have a lot of stage experiences, but I am not a narrator. And I should have given that exclamation disclaimer. Yes, last week.
Use a fake British accent.
I can't even do fake any accents. I am good at telling you where an accent comes from, but I'm not good at doing accents myself. I can do a Utah accent. I'm really good.
Oh, good.
Though I'm not even good at Utah accents because I say mountain instead of mountain.
Hurricane.
Hurricane. I do say hurricane, right? And Hooper. Hurricane is a city in southern Utah. It's actually, it's spelled hurricane, obviously, but it's a beautiful little city.
Layton.
I say Layton, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to read now. To Nick, who had been used to a household filled with older brothers, it was strange to live in an apartment with only one other person. It was weirdly quiet. Then there was his roommate. Rose had explained that Takehiko had come out of a 400-year-old painting and wasn't entirely used to life in this century. Nick had thus been vaguely prepared for someone who said thee and thou and thought that the television was witchcraft. Takehiko was not like that at all. He dressed like a fashion magazine and had gotten further in Final Fantasy XIV than Nick. Every so often, though, he would come out with some weird question. For instance, have you ever been to Mars? Where? Nick's first thought was that he was talking about some downtown club. It seemed like the sort of thing he might ask about. Mars, Takehiko repeated. The Mars colony. Have you been there? No. I don't even know what you're talking about. Is it not well known? I saw a television show where people are talking about it. They said there's a revolution in the Mars colony, I think, and I wonder if you've been there and what happened. Okay, I think you are watching a science fiction show. What does that mean? It means it's made up. I know that. I'm not stupid. I know that the people are actors. Yeah, and the story's not real either. There was no revolution on Mars? There's no colony on Mars. There's no aliens. There's no hyperspace drive. There's no intergalactic whatever. It's science fiction. Are you sure there's none of these? Or is it like werewolves, maybe, that other people think there are not, but really there are? No, I'm sure. I mean, yes, there could be aliens, maybe, but nobody knows about that, and what you saw was definitely science fiction. It sounds like it was probably Babylon 5. Yes, that is the name of the place, the space station, the made-up space station. Oh. The idea is it's supposed to be in the future. Oh, I see, because of time travel. What? No, there's no time travel either. Then how do they show all of those things? It's not real. It's all computer graphics and stuff. He appeared to think about this for a while. Then he said, but there are really people who are all fake like puppets with their brains inside, yes? What? With their, cyborgs? Yes. No? No? No, I think you need to stop watching the Space Channel. I'm trying to learn about the world. Also, I saw a show with giant lizards. I think this is science fishing as well. Giant dragon lizards, but not smart like real dragons, just stupid like animals. You don't mean dinosaurs, do you? Yes, I do. Well, they're not science fiction. Didn't you listen to the show? Dinosaurs are real. I mean, where are they? Nowhere now. They lived way in the past. No, I lived in the past, and I have never seen them. Way in the past, millions of years before you were born. Millions of years, but there is no time travel. No, people dug up their bones and stuff. Oh. Yes, they said this in the show. I see. I did not know why they were always talking about bones. So, science fishing is in the future, dinosaurs are the past. You can't tell when I'm joking, can you? That's kind of fun. I probably should have read it through ahead of time. I don't know if I said Takehiko correctly, but if it's a Japanese name, Takehiko would probably be how it's pronounced. Takehiko. That was my Glenn, my brother, and Michael, my other brother, who both went to Japan. I don't remember my siblings, apparently. It's a good thing they don't listen to our podcast. Oh, wait, dang it, Josh does.
But Josh isn't one of those two, so it's fine.
It's true. It's true.
And he speaks German anyway.
Yes,
so.
He does. Anyway, are you ready to start talking about our movie?
I am.
We had some discussions while we were watching it yesterday, and I was like, no, stop it. Stop it. That's for the podcast.
It's, I love this movie.
We're going to get that out of the way first. Is that what you're saying?
But they commit the cardinal sin at the same time of my least favorite movie mistake.
It's true. We will get into it, I'm sure.
We will. I'll get into it. I'm going to get into it.
I'm going to get into it.
With the director. Taika. He's like...
Taika Waititi or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's like, I listened to your podcast and what you said really like hurt my feelings. And I'll be like, it's the truth. The truth can be cruel.
It can be
be a
heartless.
hard thing. But that's how we grow. I mean, I admire you and your work, but that was a big, big mistake.
I feel like we're role playing because you're way
the
millions about this.
The millions of dollars that you made and the success of the movie aren't as important as my approval.
Jeez, whatever.
And he's going to be like, you're right.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man. He's like shrugging like, yeah, so. Anyway, so go ahead and tell us a bit about a couple of the characters.
Thor.
Is Thor really in Thor Ragnarok?
Thor is the titular character.
It's true.
He's quite a bit different than in some of the other movies. It's much more lighthearted, much more quirky humor. The director is the reason, since he is a comedian.
Yep.
A comedic actor himself. He hangs out with Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, that's so good.
And that sort of thing. So, you know, he does funny stuff. But apparently he's also good at directing action because there's explodiness that is very, very...
plausible in a explodey science fiction fantasy way.
Yes. Yeah. My opinion of this movie is he should have directed... dang it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 instead of whoever did it.
Oh, did you not like Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I did, but I think he strikes a much better tone of what Guardians of the Galaxy should feel like.
Compare like the first one type?
Yeah, it felt more like this felt more like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie in tone, and it's a very more science fiction-y type movie than the previous Thor movies, where it doesn't. You know what I mean?
I do, and the other ones were based a lot on Earth, so that changes.
Yeah. So the feeling is much. It feels like the setting is much more Guardians.
But I feel like if they hadn't, I mean, the other ones could have been more serious because they had Earth in them, and a lot of people won't watch a movie that's only based on other planets. This
one is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He put in the comedic. They wanted to pull people in for other reasons. Well, I'm fine with that.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he shouldn't have directed this movie per se, but I'm just saying like. The tone struck in this movie would have been better. Also in Guardians.
Okay, better also, but not better instead. Because I will tell you right now, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love this movie. We've watched it several times recently, very recently actually, and we were just gonna fast forward through, parts of it and just watch the key things for our note-taking for the podcast, but we ended up watching the whole thing because it's a fun movie. It's engaging and enjoyable.
It entertained me. I got really close to the mic.
Yes,
I want you to hear this. I need you to entertain me with the entertainment that you make for me to be entertained by. You'd be surprised. No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Like, we watch more TV than ever. Not us, though, because we hardly watch ever. Like, the only media we really consume is for this podcast. Like, I don't watch any other movies. So, like, once a week we watch a movie.
Yeah.
And then sometimes kids shows with
the kids.
Like, so I totally...
we did watch Legally Blonde the other day.
That's true. I totally know my alphabet, like...
over and over,
rock
inside
solid
and out.
now, and shapes and colors.
How are you with numbers, though?
My colors are good, and my numbers are also... That's what my daughter asks me when I come home from
How
work.
are your colors doing?
Like, they're good.
How are your feelings?
They're good. How was your work? I mean, she asks me about my day.
She's so cute. I might be biased, though.
You might be.
I might be.
She might be.
Anyway, so Thor is our main character.
Sorry, yes. We're getting way out. Thor, and then partway through, Hulk shows up. And then Valkyrie is like a...
What's her name?
Valkyrie.
No, that's her name?
No, but that's what they call her.
Yeah, she's
Valkyrie's a
Lena
title.
Thompson or something is her name in real life.
Yeah. Valkyrie's a title, not a name, but that's just what they call her. They never call her name. Yeah,
they do. I thought that Ian, what's his face, called her name. No, he called her like a quest or my favorite. You're the best.
Yeah, Scrapper 147 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Obviously not her name either, but and then so she's like semi-adversarial. Well, adversarial at the beginning, then she joins the team. It's
like, I'm so glad you're going to give up drinking. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop drinking.
I'm not going to stop drinking.
It's so amazing.
And then well, Hulk is also adversarial. So, like, Thor's like way out on his own right now.
Yeah,
because it's like Loki's there, who's adversarial.
Yes.
Hulk
is adversarial.
Stuck in permanent Hulk mode for a while. Adversarial. Yep. Valkyrie, adversarial. And then Hela, very adversarial.
She's our main bad guy.
The main bad guy, followed by the second main bad guy of the Overlord. What's he called? Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, the commander, the Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Yep.
The Grandmaster. Good call. Also, you looked it up on your phone, didn't you?
I did. I've got IMDb open
there you go.
Here.
You're prepared. I am not. Anyway, the Grandmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some ancillary bad guys like Topaz, who's always trying to kill people.
Mm-hmm. There's some amazing...
And Korg,
Korg is not adversarial, though.
No, he's not. He's probably the least...
Korg is the stone man, for those who are listening.
Made out of rook.
Made out of rock. Okay, we need to...
Anyway, so mainly, like, he gets really screwed over in this.
Yeah, he does. In many ways. Lots of ways.
But they still managed
on quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a really...
Surtur is another adversarial.
Yeah, he's not really. He's in the very beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they throw Thor out of his element, and that is a fantastic thing to do, especially in the third installment in a series. You take them from their comfort zone completely and make them, make them fight everything.
Yep.
It's a good takeaway, except it's not one of my main takeaways. There's another takeaway. There's a lot of takeaways in this one for me, for authors.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, there is a lot of good. So yeah, he's got his back up against the wall for like most of this movie. He's at a severe disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. They even cut his hair, which
he gets his hammer destroyed like right off the bat, pretty much, which is a mistake. One that I'll address later. Why don't you just take King Arthur's sword from him?
We'll address it later. Let's go on and talk about the opening scene. Okay. I'm gonna say the opening scene is perfect. 100% perfect because it sets the tone. So you've got humor in there, you've got danger, you've got high stakes, all sorts of things going on. He's alone.
Which mirrors a lot of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So it tells us what to expect. It gives us the promise, the reader's promise, Surtur, the, Armageddon basically for Asgard. Ragnarok. Yes, that I'm like sitting there. I'm like, what's the word?
There's a word for when Asgard gets destroyed. They have a whole word for it, just for itself.
Ragnarok. Anyway, it shows us the problems that'll come up, and this, the setting. It basically gives us everything that we can look forward to throughout the movie, and they actually fulfill on pretty much everything in that opening scene, which I was very impressed by, as an author who's very picky.
Yes,
and you're very picky, and you're not an author.
No.
So, inciting incident.
Odin dying.
That's what I put down, Odin's death. How far into the movie is that?
It's quite far.
It is, but it's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. There's some absolutely amazing, I just die over this movie. So many wonderful things, like Loki pretending to be Odin and throwing plays of his death.
Of how heroic he was, and then statues of how heroic he was.
And we'll talk about that. I don't want you spoiling any of my trivia, because the trivia is good. I'm excited about that. Do you have any comments on antagonist, protagonist, or foreshadowing?
No, I mean, they start with a prophecy, and the prophecy gets fulfilled, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He thinks he's supposed to stop Ragnarok, but turns out he's supposed to cause Ragnarok. For a reason that's really stupid. And
I'm pretty much okay with it. I do think they could have found a better way around it.
It's a giant logic error, and I've talked about this being my least favorite. During Skyline, it's the same problem Skyline has.
Yes, is that going to be one of your takeaways?
Yes.
Okay, so let's not talk about it right now then.
But I want to.
I know. Dialogue, I say the dialogue is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
It's very natural.
Yeah, and it's funny. They say funny things, and they also do funny things.
Yeah, there's all sorts of humor in this show.
Yeah, there's some slapstick humor in there, physical, humor.
Yeah.
Dialogue humor, situational humor.
Yeah.
They cover all the humor bases. They do.
Pretty much. And there is no romance.
I said no romance. Refreshing.
I said none, and I'm still okay with the movie. Oh, Nolan. Okay, so continuity and pacing. I would say the pacing is excellent, especially for a long movie.
Yeah, they really alternate a lot between humor and action, so there's always something.
And even the action has humor in it,
Some of it does, yeah. So it even entertains you. I mean, it makes you're like, wow, that was really cool action, and then you laugh. And then
like the part where Banner's like, you know why you thought I was familiar? Well, no wonder no more, or whatever. And he throws himself out of the ship and lands on the Bifrost, and it's him instead of Hulk.
Face plants.
He's like,
because he thought he would turn into the Hulk before he landed, and he didn't.
So
and that's
awesome.
In the middle of like a really tense battle scene.
Yep. So amazing. Okay.
Again, that's knowing when to have those beats, when it works and when it doesn't, because you could throw humor into the middle of a battle scene and then ruin the battle scene.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, they do a good job of knowing just when to put it in there, how much,
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to just blow stuff up like ridiculous.
No. And things that you don't expect them to blow up too.
I mean, like right after that, Hulk starts like wrestling a 30-foot tall wolf.
Which is, I kind of like the 30-foot
like bare-fisted, like, body slams him and stuff. It's pretty great.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to say that this is This contains multiple excellent examples of the Trifill cycle while they're trying to take down Hela. Everything and everyone fails until the ultimate big bad guy that, Thor's trying to stop. So, like, the first, the second, the third, all of their tries fell, and they keep pulling out bigger and bigger guns. The whole army of Asgard and Thor, and the characters are finally willing to do the unthinkable to stop her. And this is a fantastic example. I don't know if this is going to be the last Thor movie or not. I kind of feel like it will be, just because Asgard's destroyed, and it had
We haven't seen Infinity War, so we don't know what happens.
We don't know what happens next. But it felt like this was a good last movie, because, the ultimate bad guy is Hela, destroys your home world, and you do the unthinkable to stop her. And that's what the climax of the end of the series is all about, in my opinion. And, of course, you can do the unthinkable, but they don't, this is the first time they pulled out all the stops, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on plausible, implausible, show tell?
This whole movie's implausible.
It is.
Oh, there was a few. I can't remember. I didn't make a note of it. Unfortunately, I didn't have. But there was something they said that I thought was ridiculous, or it was like obvious. It wasn't a big deal because they only did it like once, So, but I was like, oh, you just said something like blatantly obvious. Like you didn't need to say that after you saw the thing happen. Like. Something blows up and they're like, oh no, like, we're under attack. It's like, oh, are we? Thanks, Starcraft. Sorry.
Starcraft.
I had a bad Starcraft game today, okay?
I was there. I was there for it.
Your forces are under attack.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I know. I see them. They're right there.
I'm right here. Anyway, I don't see why you're saying this whole movie is implausible, because Odin dying in glitter of gold, that's plausible. That's why my family dies.
That's how I hope to go myself. Right. Long after my own coronation.
Long after, oh my gosh. What movie was it we were watching? Prince and Me. You're like, see? It's a coronation. See?
Yeah, well, that was after Johnny English.
Yeah.
My coronation's going to be lit, so whatever.
Going to be lit RPG?
No, just lit. That's what people say, or they said like 2 weeks ago. They probably don't anymore. But I finally got to work it in, like, because it feels weird saying it at work. So.
Okay. All right. So I've got a bunch of comments under the comedy tone, mood, colors, etc. Okay. So there is a huge and excellent example of contrast in this movie. The movie is bright, happy in every way. The music, the colors, the actors, even the immigrant song. It's a positive energy song. It's not a negative, depressing song. And it's awesomely used in this movie. So, but the thing is, the contrast is bright and happy despite two huge things, Odin dying and the fall of Asgard. So it's like they took these two big things and they're like, there needs to be contrast in here. Otherwise, nobody's going to want to see the movie. Kind of like, The Dark Knight. I hate The Dark Knight. It is a really good movie, but I don't look forward to watching it over and over again.
It is a downer.
It's a very big downer. Batman is supposed to be the hero.
He's not. He's never been the hero.
Yeah, he has. To the little detective and
okay,
to Lois Lane.
You're just trying to hurt me on purpose now.
Anyway, I know who Lois Lane isn't, and I know who she is.
Amy Adams?
She is not Amy Adams.
She certainly is not. That was a terrible, terrible role for her.
It was. Oh, so bad.
Okay. I
love Amy Adams.
I don't love Amy Adams. I just don't care. But that was not.
I love her in like Leap Year. She's great at being a purse selling person in the office. She is not great at being a hard nosed reporter.
No.
She's also not great at kissing Superman.
Oh gosh. It's like watching siblings kiss. Have I ever said that? That's the amount of chemistry they had. No offense to sibling couples,
and no offense to the erotica writers who have siblings kissing.
Yes. Well, they looked really uncomfortable doing it.
They did. There's no chemistry between the two of them.
No.
Not even, even actors can pull that off who don't like each other. You know?
They're like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
Cooties.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Climax, epilogue, resolution. Any comments on those?
They were really cool.
Explodey.
Yeah. They
Hulk monster. Hulk smash monster. No, Hulk.
For once in your life,
don't smash. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get much bigger, like, and still wrap your head around what's happening, like blowing up like a whole realm or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really big.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I'm ready to give trivia. Are you ready for trivia? All right, so 80% of the movie was ad-libbed and improvised.
Yeah, that's very typical of comedies.
Yeah.
They really like to improv.
Like when Thor is, like, Valkyrie, you like what you're going to be part of my D, and he's like raising his arm up to lean casually against the thing, and then he's like, he doesn't have a place to put his arm, so he's like awkwardly, and then he finally puts it to his side. Great comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Thought you were going to say
that's typical of comedies, though. They really do a lot of ad-libbing, a lot of improv.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently that the way the director did it, he designed Chris Hemsworth's part to showcase his natural abilities as a comedian.
He did good.
Yeah, he did really good.
I never thought of him as he just done comedic things as Thor, but he did a good job.
Yeah, it was great. It was so awesome.
He should do more comedies.
I know. I agree. Yeah, as Thor,
he should come work out with me.
Oh, should he teach you his ways?
I was going to teach him, but
Nolan, you are quite ripped, but I think
I'm not.
I think that they can't see you. They don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm amazing. I am a bronze statue, basically, come to life.
Yeah.
And with some clothes on.
Thank goodness.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah, it's impossible. Never mind. Okay, moving on. So, this is the first time the Hulk was not voiced by Lou Ferrigno.
Ferrigno.
That's not how you say it. It's
That's
Italian.
How you say it.
In America.
Yeah.
Ferrigno. Ferrigno.
Okay, sorry. Not all of us speak Italian.
But that's crazy because he's actually done. He's voiced the Hulk in all of the other Marvel movies. This is the first time he hasn't, which is sad. It is sad.
Why?
I don't know.
It hurts my feelings now.
Maybe it's because they didn't want to pay. Maybe Chris Mark Ruffalo. Maybe he was a jerk and insisted on it so that he'd get more money.
His voice sounds weird.
It does. It's computerized and
it sounds all like someone auto-tuned it to heck and gone, and it's a little digitally sounding.
It is. That bothers me.
It's a little grating. If you pay attention, maybe you don't.
I don't see how anybody wouldn't notice that though.
We notice sound things more than a lot of other people, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so Cate Blanchett accepted the role of Hela because her kids said it would be a career boost.
They're not wrong. All the hobbits were garbage, so she needed to redeem herself in my eyes, at least.
I thought it was funny because her kids are fans of the movie, and she's like, okay, now what?
This Thor thing? What are you talking about?
And they're like, you should play on the... And I thought she did a really good job.
She's also hilarious and scary.
In this movie?
Movie.
No, she's fun. I really like her in this movie.
Well, you listening?
Weren't you listening?
Whoever you are,
wherever you come from.
Yes. After she gave a whole big long speech about
who she was and where she came from.
Yes, I'm Odin's firstborn, and I'm
the rightful heir of this kingdom, and
whoever you are,
and wherever you come from.
Whoever you are. She's indignant about it.
What you just listening? Anyway, Korg is played by the director.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he voices him and everything.
Okay.
Pretty cool. And the director actually is the motion animation behind Surtur.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big cameo by a director.
Yeah.
I love Korg. I think he's great.
Hey, man.
Thor was on a strict diet, and he worked out 6-7 days a week and consumed 6,000 calories a day. And they didn't actually say how long he worked out each day. I'm guessing it was more than 5 or 10 minutes, though.
He's got me beat by a couple minutes then. I'm sure. It was probably 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4, up to some of them do.
Yeah.
I know, what's his face? Wolverine.
Viggo Mortensen. No. Oh, geez.
Not even close.
Hugh
Jackman was working out like 4 hours a day for like some of the Wolverine movies right before.
You know, I wonder sometimes why I'm not that dedicated, and then I realize it's because my body is not my career. And if I got readers based on how I look, I would take it a lot more seriously.
It's a very physically forgiving line of work.
Being a writer is. It is. Readers don't have to know what I look like.
Go to any convention and meet them.
Oh,
there I go again. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not going down that road again. Apologies to all the authors and the writers that
get a treadmill desk, maybe.
Actually, I'm working on doing that. I want one. I dictate my book, so I do a lot of walking when I'm dictating, but then revising is sitting all day long.
Sitting is bad for you. So bad for you. I do it like 10 hours a day, so I know.
Yeah. We're going to, by the way, do a podcast episode someday on how to be healthy and fit as a writer. And we're going to spend the whole thing talking about ways to make... A lot of writers think about that. You'll give like different workouts and things like that people can do. And I'll talk about what I do to stay fit, which right now, stressful. I have gained like 15 pounds in the last 6 months to a year, and it's kind of stressful. After losing 55 pounds, it's hard to gain 15 back. It's such a happy thought. Let's see. Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum was previously considered for the role of Hulk in the new Marvel Hulk movies. And so when he says, the big guy I have a personal connection to... It's because he was actually considered for the part of Hulk. I don't think he would have been good.
No, I really like him as the Grand Master, though.
Yeah, he's fantastic as the Grand Master. I was a little taken aback at first. I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I can't take him seriously. I'm like,
his shirt's not off even once, or unbuttoned even one time.
It's true. The last bit of trivia is, let's see, make sure that is the last bit. And I didn't tell you this because I wanted your real reaction to it. I don't mostly tell you trivia anyway, but the director cited as a major influence on the film Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes!
They mentioned it multiple times. Big Trouble in Little China was a huge influence for him on this movie.
Yeah.
Thor losing his truck, needing to get his truck back, just like Kurt Russell.
Yep. Cool. Excellent. It's a very similar tone of movie.
Yeah. I agree.
Where there's like
horror and comedic elements.
Action, horror.
Yeah.
Scary monsters and ridiculous humor.
Yeah. I do like that movie. Not as much as this one. I apologize.
Well, it's older. I mean, it's, obviously the movie technology is as advanced in the past.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that it was the movie technology reasons. Mm-hmm. The one chick with the green eyes isn't really Asian.
No, not even close.
All right, I'm ready to talk about the biggest takeaways.
Okay.
You want to go first? So now I don't know how to make a nice transition into what we were going to talk about because I had to take a nose blowing break. So go ahead, Nolan, with your
top 3 things.
Yes.
Here we go. Actually, I have like 4. So one's more of like a comment. I'll just get out of the way. Thor gets shocked a lot in this. That's dumb.
Oh, you're right, because he's the god of thunder
and shoots lightning out of his hands, and then they spend the whole movie
electricity is different from lightning.
They spend the whole movie
totally
shocking him, keeping him compliant by shocking him.
Yeah, Ben Franklin would be ashamed and embarrassed.
I'm ashamed and embarrassed at this gigantic logic error. Shame on you, movie makers. Shame on you, even though I love this movie still. So I guess it didn't bother me that much. That bothers me. That's not really a takeaway. That's just kind of silly. Like, that didn't make sense to me. Okay, this is another one.
Another logic error?
No, this one's just my opinion, really.
Or takeaway?
Takeaway. Pay attention to aesthetics. Stop having stupid helmets, Asgard. I'm glad you're dead.
Which helmets were ugly?
Everyone in Asgard.
Oh, I don't like Thor's.
Thor's is okay. Hela's is dumb. Every soldier in Asgard's is dumb.
I've never even noticed theirs. I've noticed Hela's because I was.
They look like beetles. They have the round things.
Oh yes,
and and Loki's helmet's dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
The big curly horns.
Yeah, isn't that the way it was in the comics though?
Yeah. Yep.
And
also dumb there.
Okay.
Asgard's just known for looking silly.
Yeah.
I'd get a
Their architect is pretty amazing. Architecture.
The architecture's fine. I don't like their ships because they actually look like literal ships, and I just think that's silly. But
I mean, that's how ships are built.
No, but they're like wooden plank boats. Like, it's just kind of silly. Anyway, yeah, I don't like their helmets. And I don't know how that helps you as an author, but I feel strongly about it.
Yeah, you got to make that work for authors. This is the biggest takeaways for authors.
For authors. Yeah, well, I said pay attention to your aesthetics.
Okay.
Like,
it's really hard to
describe things to be cool instead of describe things to be dumb.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Another thing, don't break up iconic duos.
Like Banner and Hulk?
No,
They're not a
like
duo.
King Arthur and Excalibur.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Not like people duos, but
Yeah, like just let's just break. Like there are many examples of historical figures with items of power that they are closely associated with, and they just casually break his hammer, and then oh wait, he's still got powers because the power's inside you all along. Yeah. Yes,
I'm okay with them.
I mock that.
I think it's fine for them to like take away their magical item.
No, it's fine to take it away.
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to. They should
Get
have a
it back.
trial where they go without it.
Yeah.
And they grow as a person without it, and then when they get it back, then they're even better.
Yeah.
But I mean, Thor without his hammer and then still having his like powers doesn't make sense. I mean, he has some power on his own.
Explain why him needing his hammer and needing power, all that. Why? Why does that bother you that they took away his hammer? Besides the fact that it's iconic.
That's why. That's the whole reason.
Okay, because yesterday you were giving me like he
No,
gets
that's the other
his
reason.
power
That's
from
the other
his...
reason. That's a whole other thing.
Oh, I thought you were saying he got his power from his hammer.
He doesn't necessarily. I mean, he is the god of thunder, so it's fine that he doesn't get all his power from his hammer, and then he can shoot lightning on his own. That I don't have a problem with.
Okay.
But I mean, you didn't have to break his hammer because like Thor has a hammer.
Yeah.
Like that's who he is.
Yeah.
So then, like drawing Thor without a hammer is just dumb.
It's like Tony without his technology.
Sure. No, but I mean, he's Iron Man. So...
Spider-Man without his webs permanently taken away.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, I can't swing now. I mean, like, for a while, that's fine, but like forever?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
So maybe he gets another hammer. I don't know, but...
We haven't watched Infinity War.
Yeah. Anyway, not loving it, Captain America without a shield, which does happen, and it's fine for a while, and they give him some other stupid ones, but, anyway. People don't like it unless they get it back, and then you're like, oh, thank goodness,
Mm-hmm.
He's reunited with his, whatever. A gunfighter without a gun.
Reunited with his whatever.
Yeah, whatever it happens to be.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has a lucky, revolver, cowboy or something like that, or a lever gun or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Well,
and then you've seen other movies like that where it's happened and they get it back and they're like,
something bigger and better.
That's true. But I mean, I don't know. It's also based on like legends, so
yeah, that's true too. Actually,
it's just there's a lot of history bound up in it.
Yeah,
to break.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't care for that choice.
No.
He could have discovered his power after his hammer was taken away because they have a picture of Hela holding the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
She could have just confiscated it when he threw it at her. She could be like, "Oh, that's mine," and then like pocketed it.
Yeah, I think it's more powerful that she broke it, though. Personally,
I mean, it shows how powerful she is right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But also now he doesn't have a hammer, and he's supposed to have a hammer because
maybe he goes back to Finland or Norway or whatever and picks up all the pieces and builds it himself.
That would be fine.
Yeah,
that would be fine. And then makes it like more better. So yeah. Anyway, number 3.
Wait, that was
4, I guess.
Oh.
Don't invalidate your premise. Let me be close to the mic when I say this. Don't invalidate your premise. Okay?
You're so serious about
I'm so deadly serious.
Anyway, explain. What do you mean?
So they make a big deal about breaking Thor's hammer. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, you didn't need the hammer. The power was inside you all along, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make another big deal about how Hela and he gets his power from Asgard, the realm of Asgard. Mm-hmm. When Hela arrives on Asgard, she powers up and becomes pretty much invincible.
Yeah.
Same with Thor, I guess. He's supposed to derive his power from Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to defeat Hela
is to destroy Asgard.
To cut off her power, which means you would also cut off
Thor's power.
But then they say
Asgard is a people, not a place.
And then she doesn't kill all the people.
Yeah, so she still supposedly
Asgard
has power.
Is a place, I guess. And then they're like, no, it's a people. Well, does he get his power from the people or from the place?
Asgard. Because it's the same for her.
Right. So, but they still decide to go but they're like, Asgard is a people, and then they take the people off of Asgard, and then they blow up Asgard to destroy her power.
Mm-hmm.
But that would also destroy his power.
But
Asgard's a people, not a place. And I was like, logic error.
That's a pretty big logic error.
Yeah. So their whole plan was dumb.
This is when the director goes, oh yeah, I hope nobody notices.
Yeah. And nobody did, I guess. Just me.
No, I'm sure people have noticed.
I haven't heard anybody ranting about it like me.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, is Asgard a people or a place or both, or what's going on right now? Because like you have to destroy Asgard to destroy Hela, to destroy their power, but then Thor's probably still powerful, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because you don't really get to see him do anything after that, because that's the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he still has powers or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess the power's inside him all along anyway. Which is fine, but is kind of cliche. I don't know, it kind of drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, making a big deal of it is cliched. You can have power inside you all along. It's just don't be like the power's inside you all along. Just say,
Yeah, I mean,
power. They have power.
Yeah, he runs around with the hammer, and then like, oh, don't worry, you never needed it anyway. Yes, you did. You needed to break things. Okay, it's cool, and you needed to break things. Anyway, but yeah, they invalidate the premise and that like the logic at the end there, where it's like, I don't know. Seems like sloppy storytelling to me.
If it weren't for the fact that the rest of the movie is so well done, if the rest of the story was that kind of writing, then the movie would have flopped.
Yeah, and like it doesn't really continge on that either, because it's like right at the end and like.
But it's how they defeat Hela, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, she kind of gets killed by a giant flaming sword the size of a mountain, so.
I love Surtur. He's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. So maybe that's what killed her, and like they didn't have to destroy Asgard, but he does it as he's destroying Asgard because he like is punching holes in Asgard. So
yeah.
Anyway, the other example of this is Skyline, where the aliens stick people's brains in their machines to run them, and then somebody
self-heals,
and then somebody kills it with an axe, and then it still moves, and then like it doesn't have a brain in it anymore, and then. Yeah, I guess you don't need brains.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then what's the whole point of them sticking brains in their machines and then they start moving and then you remove a brain and it doesn't stop moving?
I would say that's a bigger error than this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you're invalidating the premise because that's like the whole like motivation of like the bad guys. They're doing that the whole movie. And then you find out, I guess it didn't matter after all. And then you're like, what? It feels like that. It feels like that to me and I don't like it.
I'm going to go on to my top takeist bigaways.
Okay. Well said.
I'm not a public speaker. As the listeners of this podcast know, I'm not a public speaker. All right, so timing is everything. This show has perfect comedy, pretty much. So basically, things are delivered when they should be. Don't interrupt your jokes with narrative, unless the narrative will make it more funny. So concentrate on, like, making your jokes, delivering the, what is it called? The end of a joke.
Punchline?
The punchline at the right place. Pacing is very important when it comes to jokes. So pay attention to how you're pacing your jokes. And then next thing is there are a lot of haters for this movie.
Yeah.
There are. I mean, they're not a majority, but there's a very vocal minority that thought it was too funny and did not like the movie because of that. So my point with that is even the most perfect piece of work, even a masterpiece, will have haters. Yes, I do love this movie. Ignore people that hate your books because you are going to find people who hate your books. So ignore them. You're going to have plenty who love your books. And so...
I mean, you have to find an audience and then make that audience happy.
Yeah.
Your audience isn't going to be 100% of people. It's a fractional percent of people.
Exactly. And stay true to what you want to write, what you love, because your audience will love what you write because of that.
Yeah, I mean, even like really famous people, like most people... have never read a Stephen King book, ever.
I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, just like survey the entire country.
Yep.
It'll be a few percent. Yep. And he's like one of the best selling authors
in the
alive.
world. Yeah.
Today.
And I don't ever plan on reading any of his books.
Harry Potter,
I have read Harry Potter.
More, but still, most people have not read it.
Yeah.
51% of the United States has not read Harry Potter.
Yeah.
10, 5
of readers in the United States.
Readers, of people. Even people that actually like actively seek out books to read. Most readers haven't read it. Mm-hmm. Crazy to think about how well they're doing.
Yeah, no kidding.
With most people haven't read your book, and you're going to be the same way.
Yeah, so target your book. Make sure it's something that you enjoy. Well, and again, I mean, there are people who write books and do very, very well off of books that they don't enjoy and don't enjoy writing and don't enjoy reading. I'm gearing my comments more to people who want to love what they write. write what you love.
It's easier.
It is. It's easier. Well, sometimes. I mean, some people can throw out, romance. I would say that romance is probably the main genre that people turn to when they're not writing what they're in love with, because if they write a fast romance, you can make money writing fast romances. But fantasy and science fiction, it tends to take somebody who loves the genre to do it, and especially to do it well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ignore the haters. Don't read your negative reviews. I mean, I read my negative reviews in the beginning because I wanted to learn from them, but I don't read them anymore.
Because I don't want to learn anymore.
No, it's because they're not going to teach me anything. I know where my weaknesses are, and I'm working on them, and my strengths are somebody else's weaknesses, meaning some people look at my strengths and they think they're weaknesses. Anyway, so that's my second takeaway. Then my third takeaway is readers absolutely love it when their favorite characters make a comeback. And in this movie, do we have any comebacks? I mean, Hulk comes back, Loki comes back. Thor's the main character. I'm not talking about the main character. I'm talking about side characters.
Yeah.
So, but the example I want to use specifically, when Loki is acting as Odin and he puts on a play, the guy who plays the part of Loki is Matt Damon.
Yes.
So that's a toss out, that's a little shout out to any Matt Damon fans. They're like, hey, look, there's Matt Damon, And Odin is Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, Grant. And then Thor is Luke Hemsworth, which is amazing that Thor plays his brother, that Thor's brother plays Thor. Anyway, so if you're writing a series, like don't hesitate to pull in characters that are earlier in the series into later books.
Yeah, fans like Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Every book does not need to include every single character because it's not special, it's okay to take a break for a few books from one character, And I did that with Sanso. You remember Sanso? He's an ember god, so basically he's kind of like a dragon, but he's not a dragon. It's my version of dragons. He pulses fire from his hands and feet, and he's quite sassy, and he's quite a villain. And then he ends up having to team up with my main character in book 7, of a different series, and he hits on her. And my readers who read my books, all of my books, they loved it. It was a lot of fun. He's quite sassy and very flirtatious. I had a lot of fun writing those scenes.
He's my second favorite character.
Your favorite is? Azariah, the cranky guy. He's powerful, and he's about Nolan's age, and he's very, 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 very cranky.
He's modeled after me, not intentionally, because she wrote him before she met me.
I was going to say, no, he's not.
Yeah, she wrote him before she met me, but she basically wrote me.
As a character.
She knew I was coming into her life, and she intuited a character based on me.
Yeah, you have very long black hair.
I could.
You couldn't. I wouldn't let you. The character actually based on you is Austin, who was a jerk to Nicole when she first met him. You weren't a jerk to me per se, but you were a jerk. You were a jerk.
That's why I deal with the contractors.
Yes, the stupid handyman. To give an example of what we're having to deal with these handymen, one of them's like, oh, I flip houses 200 houses a year. He's a handyman who flips houses. And he's like, let me know if you need any guidance. I'll let you know what's selling and what's working right now and what's not working. And I'll let you know if your plans will actually work or not.
That's fine information to volunteer.
It's fine information to volunteer, but it was
more of a takeover.
It was. He was trying to take over. Like, no, don't do that. No, yes, you do that. Anyway, so he ended up being a complete pig, and we didn't end up even hiring him at all because we were like, hey, we got this other guy who's going to work great. Yeah, not. You can expound on that if you want to.
Just show up and finish the job. Especially when you're paid by task, you're like, okay, that'll be $400. Wouldn't you want to get it done fast
as possible?
Paid? Just a side note, I did construction waste removal, which is like the worst construction job you can imagine.
You were pretty ripped, though.
I was. And I was paid by the board foot to remove the waste from wherever.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
So I made $25 an hour when I was 19, 20 years ago, because I got it done quickly.
Yeah.
So I was making like 50 G's out of high school pretty much without any education. except my high school diploma, which I didn't need.
Yeah, no, this guy, I'm like, okay, Monday, we're on for Monday for sure, 100%, right? And he goes, yeah, we're on for Monday. And then like Sunday night, he's like, so when are you going to need me this week? And I'm like,
soft Monday? Was that a soft Monday?
Yeah. And I was like, no, it was a solid. He was like, well, I filled up the day because I hadn't heard from you. And I'm like, I told you on text and on a phone call that we were doing Monday for sure.
Yeah.
So then he shows up and he doesn't bring all the tools he needs. And he doesn't realize that he's like plumbing. I'm like, plumbing is straightforward. You go in, you see the type of pipes, you see where you need to move them and what kinds of pipes you need to cut and, PEX and all that stuff and apply them and all that. And he comes and he's like, goes to a plumbing store and he buys $333 worth of stuff. And then half of it he doesn't need because he didn't realize that it wasn't what he needed. So we've got all this stuff at the house that we have to return. Anyway, sorry, this is a big long aside. Be competent.
How does this help authors?
Hiring contractors, seriously, working with editors,
Yeah.
Don't pay them up front. Pay them when the job is complete, And we didn't pay him up front. Get in writing everything that you're going to do. You need to get things in writing. And that's something that Nolan's mom reminded me of today. And I'm like, she's right. I did get all this in writing, but I don't care anymore. I'm not going to make him stick to what he said he's going to do because he's a painful person to work with.
So he's going to get less work.
Pretty much. We're not working with him again.
Be good to work with. That's just a general life.
That's a general life rule.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if you're not going to show up, tell them why ahead of time, not after you're already late.
Oh, yeah. Yes. He was supposed to go, what time today? 9 a.m. and he didn't show up until when?
I don't know. He was there when I got there at 3, and he said he would have been done hours before that, so I don't think he showed up then because he didn't do that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had the boards cut, but anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So that house has been exciting. It's been a learning curve for us. It's our first house flipping, so.
Yep.
If you know any good handymans in our area,
which you don't know.
Which you don't know what our area is.
Nor should you ever. Stalkers.
When I ask you where can people find you, you always say in their dreams or by their
That's me stalking
window,
them.
looking in their window.
It's fine when I do it. Listen, nobody likes
that's a double standard.
Yeah, it is. So what?
At least you recognize it.
I'm completely comfortable with hypocrisy.
Only from yourself, not from other people. Oh, brother. Anyway, so what did we say was next week? Lars and the Real Girl. Oh, it's a great movie. It is an indie film shot mostly in Canada.
I keep trying to get Adam to watch it at work.
Really? He hasn't seen it? Most people haven't seen it.
He's like, hey, bro, what? You need to watch Lars and the Real Girl. What? It's about this guy who gets a
doll,
a sex doll.
We don't want to give people the bad. He's got mental problems, and so he buys a sex doll, and he actually thinks that she's real and alive,
and
she's his
he's
girlfriend.
he does nothing naughty happens at all, and he just like treats her like a real person.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie,
like a real girl.
Yeah, Lars and the Real Girl. It is a really, really great movie.
And, yeah, he uses her to interact with the world since he can't do it directly himself.
Yep.
So
we'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
And then Jurassic World 2. I'm so sad Jurassic World comes out this weekend and we're not watching it.
No, we're not.
Anyway, we should end this podcast.
Fine, we're done.
Episode, not podcast, the episode.
Oh. I mean, yeah, that's what that's fine.
All right, so where can people find you? The silence.
You told me not to be creepy anymore. I've got nothing if I don't got that.
I was going to say, the long silence is going to get cut out of most everybody's.
You can find me digging through your trash.
You've said that one before.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm running out of, I don't know, man. You can't find me. I don't exist. I'm just a mirage. You dreamed this happening. This isn't real. What?
I'm like giddy laughing. I'm so tired.
We're not doing so good, right? But we did the podcast. We did it.
We did it.
We're miserable, but we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Doing the podcast is not
doing
miserable.
The podcast was fun.
But being sick and tired and doing the podcast, we did it.
We did it.
For you, the people.
Anyway, guess what I totally forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode?
What?
And for those people who have not stuck through to the end, they're going to miss out. We are doing a sell on my Big Bang Promotions course.
Yeah.
So coupon code just because. Go to selfpublishedstrongcourses.com and click on enroll and enter in the coupon code just because. And if you can't enter it in, let me know and I will refund half the course. I've had to do that a couple times now.
Huh.
But yeah, so go ahead and do that and
support the podcast.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/selfpublishedstrong.
Leave a review.
Oh, yeah. Leave a review on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever else.
Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast. Yeah, whatever. You know how long it's going to take them to get that out of people's vocabulary?
Forevers.
Because how long have they been around?
I don't know, 15 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's never going to go away.
It's branding. It's hard to shake it.
Yeah,
Talked about that
It is.
in a previous podcast.
Yeah. All right. So if you have a question, email me at andrea@selfpublishedstrong.com. And if you have a question for Nolan, email me at Andrea Pearson. Andrea, what is my name? Andrea.
PearsonBooks.com.
No, Andrea@selfpublishedstrong.com.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny. I'm so tired that I just thought I gave away my real name, my legal name. Like, no, Andrea Pearson's that's my name. It's my author name, not my legal name. All right. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Are you still listening?
You shouldn't listen to us anymore.
You shouldn't listen to us anymore. All right, we're seriously done now. Bye, everyone. Bye.